Welcome back to AutoView Pro. Today, we're exploring something that exists more in our dreams than on the assembly line, the speculative, CGI-rendered 2026 Chevrolet Malibu. You'll learn the origins of these virtual designs, the real status of the Malibu, and how to think critically about renderings floating around the web. By the end of this video, you'll be fully immersed in both the hope and the reality behind the Malibu's digital afterlife. Let's journey back through time briefly. The Chevrolet Malibu debuted in 1964 as a trim level on the Chevrolet and soon became its own model line. Over the decades, it evolved through two production runs from 1964 to 1983 and again from 1997 to 2024 A25. A mainstay in the mid-size sedan market, the Malibu has sold over 10 million units. But change came in 2024. General Motors confirmed it would cease production of the Malibu in November of that year to retool its Kansas City plant for next-generation Chevy Bolts, a part of GM's pivot toward electric vehicles. The Malibu's long legacy indeed, at least in physical form. Yet imagination refuses to let go. Digital artists and YouTube renderers are keeping the Malibu alive, if only on screens. One digitally commissioned rendering by Digimod's Design envisions a bold and modern 2026 Malibu, inspired heavily by design cues from the Chevy tracks. Split headlamps, quirky taillights, blacked-out wheels, rugged yet stylish active trim elements are all grafted onto a mid-size sedan body. Another art piece by Q Cars imagines a subtle facelift, smaller grille, larger headlamps, refined bumper lines, a taillight strip connecting the rear, and understated diffuser styling. These visuals spark excitement, but they remain figments of creativity, not GM's roadmap. So, what's the truth? The rumors of an actual 2026 Malibu, especially a hybrid version, are unfounded. A report from /Gear highlights that GM has no plans for a new Malibu. Social media and YouTube channels promoting a 2.0-liter turbo hybrid with 250 horsepower or a 1.8-liter unit yielding 182 horsepower and 48 miles per gallon are baseless. In fact, some renders even feature glaring mistakes like a misspelled Malibu, unmasking them as AI-generated fakes. So, why does this matter? Beyond the visual intrigue, speculative renderings play a vital role in shaping public perception, their digital what-ifs. But as automotive enthusiasts and creators, we need to distinguish fantasy from the facts. The Malibu is gone, not for now, but forever. GM is pouring resources into innovation, not a resurrection of its last mid-size sedan. But imagine if GM had continued the Malibu legacy, what might it have become? Design styling? Borrowing from compact crossovers like the tracks, renderings suggest a sharp, geometric front fascia with slim split lighting. A blacked-out, rugged active trim introduces a new hybrid SUV sedan flavor. Alternatively, Q Cars offers a more elegant evolution, sleeker headlights, refined bumper designs, and a cohesive rear light bar. Powertrains. The digital world flirts with hybrid variants, but with no GM confirmation. These are just imaginative projections, sometimes with absurd details like glaring spelling errors. Why it matters? These renderings illustrate how artists reinterpret discontinued models. They keep the Malibu alive in our minds and fuel conversations about design direction, even when the brand has moved on. Here's how you might structure today's video, following this narrative arc. 1. Intro. Welcome back to AutoView Pro. Today, we're leaning into the digital dream world with the A2026 Chevrolet Malibu, a car that doesn't exist but lives on in renderings. 2. Historical context. Cover the Malibu's timeline, rise and fall, from 1964 through its resurgence in 1997, to its final production run ending November 2024. 3. The announcement of its end summarized GM's official position, shifting to EVs, discontinuing midsize sedans like Malibu in favor of crossovers and Bolts. 4. CGI renderings explored, display and analyze. The DigiMods design Malibu Active, a rugged, crossover-inspired. The Q Car's Malibu, a refined, modernized styling. 5. Hybrid rumors debunk, detail false claims by random YouTube sources and AI-generated flaws like Malibu, reinforcing the importance of credible information. 6. What fun these renderings provide. Discuss how they inspire design speculation, creative imagination, and car enthusiast engagement despite their unreal basis. 7. Final thoughts. Conclusion. Reflect on fading sedan segments, the inevitability of EV transitions, and the bittersweet legacy of the Malibu. End by inviting viewers to comment, would you design your own digital Malibu? Drop your ideas below. Let's break this scriptable content into actual acting segments, pacing transitions, and suggested visuals. Opening showed a dynamic montage of past Malibu models, fading into CGI renders. Voiceover. Welcome back to AutoView Pro. Today, we're venturing into speculative territory, and it's a ride you won't find at your local dealership. Cut to presenter on camera. Chevrolet officially ended production of the Malibu in November 2024. The last of GM's midsize sedans rolled off the line as the auto industry shifts toward EVs. But what if that wasn't the end? Let's explore the A2026 Malibu, a car of fantasy, rendered pixel by pixel. Overlay timeline graphics tracing Malibu's history, voiceover narration. The Malibu began life in 1964, evolved through multiple decades, and came roaring back in 1997. Over 10 million units were sold worldwide. But production ceased in late 2024 as GM retooled its Kansas City plant for the Bolt F. The Malibu, it seems, has gone the way of the muscle car. Transition to CGI render. Visual DigiMods design render appears. Here's the first digital resurrection, courtesy of DigiMods design. We see an imagined 2026 Malibu with active style trim inspired by the Chevy tracks. Split headlights, black rims, a rugged yet youthful face. Cut to presenter beside CGI overlay, gestures to features. It's bold, angular, and almost crossover-like, blurring the line between sedan and SUV. Switched to Q Car's rendering visuals. Next up, a more elegant reimagining by Q Car's, refined styling, an understated yet modern front end, connected rear lights are less aggressive, more refined. Overlay social media clips claiming hybrid rumors, voiceover, but then rumors swirl at claims of a 2026 hybrid Malibu with a 2.0-liter turbo 250 horsepower engine, or a 1.8-liter making 182 horsepower and 48 miles per gallon. Sounds cool, right? Unfortunately, it's all smoke and mirrors. These renderings are AI created, often riddled with errors like a Malibu badge. Not credible. Presenter, slightly chastened tone. Always question the source here, especially when the brand hasn't confirmed it. Reliable info comes from GM itself, not random YouTubers. Cut to side by side of both renderings, with voiceover, but if we take a step back, these digital creations remind us what the Malibu could have been. They're fun, inventive, and keep the spirit of the Malibu alive in our imaginations. On-camera close-up, reflective tone, the midsize sedan market is shrinking. Only 8% of US sales in 2023. Crossovers and pickups reign supreme. The Malibu's discontinuation isn't just about one car, it's a marker of a broader shift. Closing montage, CGI Malibu fades into shots of Bolt F plant, futuristic studio. So while the 2026 Malibu may never exist in steel and glass, its digital afterlife speaks volumes about design, nostalgia, and the future of automotive creativity. Would you draft your own digital Malibu? I'd love to see your sketches, your clothes, so it's your turn to render. Presenter gestures to comment section. Hit like if you enjoyed this speculative deep dive. Subscribe for more AutoView Pro explorations, and let's imagine the next great car together. Visual and production notes summary. Opening montage, historical Malibu clips transitioning into the CGI renderings. Timeline overlay, key day teaser from 1964, 1997 revival, to 2024 end. Render comparisons, side-by-side display of two CGI vehicles. Rumor segment, shots of social media render claims with humorous overlays, Malibu close-up. Emotional contrast, fade from dreamlike render back to the factory and Bolt F visuals signifying industry shift. Closing call to action, on camera, engaging viewers to participate.